Today you woke up and you reluctantly chose violence. And maybe that's the only way you're going to get out of your being a feudal lord that's under attack. So apparently you're in the middle of nowhere. You're on the medieval version of Tatooine, and you're suddenly attacked by all these foreigners, and you're like, hey, I don't get sent enough money to pay to have a decent army and fight off these guys. So you really have to be efficient with how you defend yourself, and I feel like that's the crux of this game, when diplomacy is not an option, which is the name of the game. So you defend your castle when it's under siege against hordes of enemies and win epic battles. I tried the tutorial, and I felt like the tutorial really felt like Command and Conquer meets Warcraft, but there's a lot more action and everything seems to be sped up, like the building, everything. It feels like it's intended for people that are expecting RTS light, for beginners that are just starting to play strategy games. So it's all about building your castle's defenses, not sending people out so much to go explore the world, which is kind of what I did anyways, because I got bored of building things, and it just seemed like nothing was going on otherwise. So I started exploring the map I was on, and I found random people, and I actually found a whole army which didn't have a established base, which was really weird. It's like, okay, where did they come from? So you just have to be ready to survive the enemy onslaught, whether they come to you, which apparently is a thing, but they didn't come to me when I was playing. So considering the number of options you have at your disposal, the game never feels overwhelming, fortunately, that you cannot get the gist of building. At first, the only thing that really I found was confusing was just building the walls to fortify everything. But I figured that out without looking at manual or anything. I just figured it out on my own. But it feels like it has short-lived appeal for serious strategy fans, but for someone that's just sitting down for 5 minutes to an hour, it's not a bad RTS. It really feels like a mix of elements, like Command and Conquer meets setting up towers, like a tower defense game. It's got a minimalistic art style, and it really feels like C&C, as I said, meets Dune, if you ever played the Dune game from 2 decades ago, I think it was, with the sound effects and humor of the Warcraft series. So you build walls with towers, barracks, it seems like very basic stuff, and then you can't keep building different levels of improving it from there. I think there's 2 different barracks, or whatever the example I saw was. There's only 2 different so once you've built those 2 levels of upgrades, there's not many upgrades in this game. That's what I was getting at. And yeah, there's common tropes that you would expect from medieval RTS. I feel like it's heavily inspired from Warcraft, just the way everything's designed. And people claim that this game is They Are Billions clone with mix of Stronghold. I guess so. I think I played both, but anyways, I feel like the campaign, it's still in development. The campaign map is large, but there are only 2 missions. The game needs fresh content. I feel like once I played the tutorial, I built some of the buildings, I was good. There was no overall plot. Maybe it's because I played the tutorial mode, and maybe there's more cutscenes and stuff. But I feel like at that point, when you've built everything, it's sort of oh, I've seen everything, I'm good, I don't need to continue onwards. And there's not much leveling up, as I was saying, so that limits your amount of progress. It limits the interest in the game, and if there's not fresh content, then people are oh, I'm gonna play something else. So the other problem with this game is I feel like you can only research one thing at a time, and there's 5 to 10 different things, so you gotta wait for that to finish researching before. So if you suddenly need something else, you can't research that, you have to wait for it to finish, otherwise you might go down in flames. So, and you can't cancel it, I think I said. So it lacks depth and encourages you to defend your stuff, but if you don't adequately prepare a defense, suitable defense, then you're done. Like, it's apparently that's the biggest dilemma with this game. It goes for $28.99 regular price. This seems kind of high for what's there. If you really like your RTS games, go for it, try it out, see if it's kind of like something that used to exist, like Dune, or Command and Conquer. If you're a huge fan of Command and Conquer and you want to play something like that but simpler, go for it. Yeah, you'll just be able to see and do everything, and I find, like, for me, if I see and do and I've done everything, and if there's no proper, like, story, then I'm like, I'm done, you know, because it's just, for me, there's no interest left in it. Yeah, you'll do everything very quickly. I feel like if you can get it for $10 less, that's great. You may enjoy it as an alternative to other RTSs. It feels like something similar. I just feel like it lacks that depth that it really needs to be something super amazing. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's just, it feels like a shadow of, like, I've played something like this and this is cool, but like I would like something that has a bit more than this, and that was the impression I was left with by playing this. So, you know, maybe you give it a try, see if it, you know, tickles your fancy more than it did for me. It just didn't do it for me. So anyways, keep on using non-diplomacy and keep on gaming. I'm out.